Welcome to NewYorkTrue.com. Today we're going to spend 5 minutes with New York City Public Advocate Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio has announced that he is running for mayor and not for re-election as public advocate. We therefore know that we will have a new public advocate in January 2014. As part of NewYorkTrue.com's coverage of the public advocate's race, we talked with de Blasio about the office, its structure and duties, his observations as we head toward the completion of his term, and what he sees as the biggest challenges facing the next public advocate. De Blasio has a particularly interesting perspective. If he succeeds in his mayoral campaign, he will assume an office often at odds with his current position of public advocate. First, we discuss the structure and duties of the public advocate's office.
I think the charter is pretty clear about this office being a watchdog on the mayoral administration, the city ombudsman, an office that plays an important role on some of the key boards governing life in the city, City Planning Commission, Pension Fund Board. And then, maybe you could say this is a little counterintuitive, but also next in line of succession to the mayor in the event a mayor is no longer able to serve. So it's that combination of roles. Now, succession is a rarity, obviously, so the crucial element here is that combination of watchdog and ombudsman. We found the two go together. We find out from the people directly, whether it's in neighborhood settings or folks who call us or come into the office with challenges, problems. We find out what's working and what's not working in the city government, and then that connects to that watchdog role, that very public role, that policy-oriented role of trying to fix what's broken, trying to make sure the government's serving people. So I think the pieces blend. I've said for a long time, I think that this is an office that deserves a more forceful role in our city government. But I have found a consistent logic in its design. There is a tension between the Comptroller's office and the mayoralty, the Advocate's office and the mayoralty, that I think is a natural tension. So I think that is a given, and that's probably a healthy given in most instances. I think the bigger question to me is, what does it take to have a truly transparent New York City government? And I think despite the efforts of the Comptroller's office and the Advocate's office, there's still a long way to go. And we've seen a constant increase in mayoral power. The advocate role is crucial as a check and balance. In general, this is maybe part of the wisdom of having a public advocate, because so many agencies by their nature fall into some of the bad habits of bureaucracy. You need some antidote.
I asked what he found surprising or unexpected when he took office in January 2010.
I think two things I would say. One is, when we started our community organizing effort, I think we found tremendous possibility in it. It had not been applied through the prism of the Public Advocate's Office previously. We found, in just looking at the landlord watch list, and I encourage everyone to take a look at landlordwatchlist.com, right there we found a way to empower tenants and use the Office of Public Advocate, not just as a oversight entity or a bully pulpit, but as something that went deeper into communities. I think that model was refreshingly meaningful and can be developed. So that was a good surprise. I think also recognizing the meaning and power of the advocate's role on the City Planning Commission and on the NYSERS board. Two things, of course, we knew about and were focused on during the campaign and when I came into office, but in office learned that there was so much more that could be achieved through the presence on those two boards.
We talked about what the next public advocate will face and what he or she should focus on.
The next advocate should pick up where we are going to leave off, which is continuing to deepen that oversight role, that community organizing role that we've tried to innovate. I think it's working. I think it needs more time and certainly needs good resources with which to work. So I hope the next advocate will deepen our approach. In terms of the issues facing the city, we're going to make a series of economic choices. We all know the labor contracts have been left unresolved by the mayor. We all know there's serious changes that are going to occur budgetarily because of federal and state realities. We're going to have to make serious choices. I think a lot of times our budget process has lacked transparency. I hope the next advocate can really focus on bringing the public in maximally into that. I think the reworking of our schools is going to be a particularly crucial issue. It's going to be clearly a new take after Bloomberg goes in terms of education. And I think the next advocate needs to be right in the center of that, particularly working on behalf of parents.